junkie.
Howdy, Vault Riders. Sam here, and welcome to the most brutal westerns ever made. This is 36 films in total, split into 3 parts. In part 1, we took a hard look at the brutal classics. And next, we're doing part 3. We'll ride into the modern era. If you missed it, there's a link or two waiting for you at the end of the video. Now today, we're going knee-deep into part 2. That's Grindhouse Frontier land. This is where the shit went feral. We're talking spaghetti shootouts caked in mud, some acid westerns, and cult nasties that splash the screen with more red than a slaughterhouse floor. These ain't the movies you took your grandma to, unless she was the kind of lady who kept a sidearm in her knitting bag. We're counting down from 12 to 1, the wildest, weirdest, most gut-punching westerns the cult circuit ever cooked up. Let's ride.
Not only that, I think you're as dumb as a backward jackass.
Who is more dumb? Me or the man who lets himself get cheated by a friend?
I thought you didn't know the language.
If you ever wondered what would happen if a samurai wandered into a spaghetti western, or red son, it's got your answer. And it's a bit like mixing wasabi with some chili beans. Charles Bronson plays a train-robbing outlaw who finds himself teamed up with Toshiro's samurai warrior. Their mission? Track down a stolen sword and deal with a backstabbing bandit leader who makes a rattlesnake look polite. The movie is more polished than most of the grindhouse fare here, but when the steel starts a-swinging, it's sharper than a barber's straight razor on a Sunday morning. Toshiro's blade, it doesn't just nick you. It cuts folks down in one clean stroke.
Son of a bitch.
And that camera don't shy away from showing the drop. Gunfights pop up between the swordplay, giving you a mix of sudden lead and a flashing steel that's just hard not to enjoy. Sure, compared to the rest of this list, it's downright civilized.
Give me my clothes!
But that's like saying a twister's civilized because it didn't blow your roof off. When Red Sun decides to draw blood, it does it quick and clean, leaving you wondering why more westerns didn't think to invite a samurai to the gunfight.
That's enough. All right, you have 5 seconds to open that door.
Might I ask who I are addressing? I'm Wild Bill Hickok. Well, I'm pleased to meet you, I'm sure.
Most a little big man plays like a tall tale told over just too many whiskeys. Dustin Hoffman's Jack Crab, he bounces between frontier life with the Cheyenne and run-ins with the white man's world, poking fun at every Western cliche along the way. You're halfway convinced it's all just a yarn, until Arthur Penn yanks the rug just right out from underneath you. The Washita-style massacre hits like a boot to the ribs. The U.S. cavalry charges into a peaceful Cheyenne village, and what follows is just chaos. You got teepees burning, women and children gunned down, and Hoffman's on-screen wife murdered in the stampede.
Sunshine! Run! Run!
The part that still makes folks shift in their seats, it's the on-screen killing of his infant child. For 1970, that was about as welcome as a skunk at a church picnic, and it still stings your eyes today. The hard left turn from lighthearted to horrifying is what makes it so damn brutal. One minute you're smirking at Hoffman's sly aside, and the next you're staring at the screen, wondering how the hell a major Hollywood film just went there. It may not keep the violence flowing from start to finish, but that one scene lands with a kind of force you don't walk off easy.
Why would they kill women and children?
Because they are strange. They do not seem to know where the center of the earth is. We must have a war on these cowards and teach them a lesson.
Who are you? Those that know me call me Blade. Because I got a habit of letting this do my talking for me.
This movie doesn't bother warming you up. It just comes out swinging, literally. Like from the first scene, you see a tomahawk sail through the air and take a man's hand just clean off. And that's your welcome mat. Maurizio plays Blade. He's a bounty hunter who prefers his hatchet over a six-shooter, which means the fights here, they get up close and ugly. This ain't the sun-bleached postcard West. It's mud up to your shins, rain in your eyes, and grit between your teeth. Martino leans into the nastier side of the genre. You know, like quicksand executions, some decapitations, and brawls that look like they were choreographed by two drunk uncles at a family reunion. And Blade, he's about as cuddly as a cactus in a sleeping bag. By 1977, spaghetti westerns were mostly winking at themselves, but this one digs its heels in and just stays mean. The fights, they ain't clean duels. They're scrap heap slugfests where everyone leaves looking worse than they came in. It may not have the polish of the big names, but it's got that stubborn, low-budget charm, like a mean old coonhound that's mangy, half-blind, and still liable to take your leg off if you get too close.
These men have got to stick to working and not be distracted with disgusting spectacles of bad along.
No!
Shut up!
Hold it. And now unload it. You forgot one.
By the time Keoma rolled around, the spaghetti western was limping towards the end of its trail. But Franco Nero, he saddled up anyways, and brought one hell of a mean streak with him. He plays a half-native gunslinger returning to his hometown, only to find it's been taken over by a gang of bullies and then strangled by a plague. Yeah, that's right. On top of bullets and the beatings, folks are coughing their lungs out in the streets. The director shoots the violence like it's high art. Slow motion falls, dust curling in the air, but he don't skip the grit. Gunfights leave bodies slumped in the mud, and the villains make a sport of humiliating and brutalizing the townsfolk. Even the hero spends most of the film looking like he hasn't slept or bathed in a week, which, it fits the mood just fine. The violence here, it isn't constant, but when it flares up, it hits like a hornet under your hat. Fast, mean, and guaranteed to make you dance. It's stylish, sure, but the style never fully covers the rot underneath. Think of it like a Sunday suit with a pocket full of live snakes. Looks good from a distance, but you don't want to get too close.
Don't touch her! She's got the plague! You mind your own business, stranger. We're taking her to the old mine, where the others are. It's the best place for her.
I never like people who talk too much.
Lucio Fulci's best known for making eyeballs pop and zombies chew on some folks. But with For the Apocalypse, he takes those same nasty instincts and drags them through the Old West. It starts out deceptively harmless. You got your four outcasts, a drunk, pregnant prostitute, card shark, and a fool. and they're all tossed out of town together like yesterday's trash. For a few minutes, you might think you're in a quirky little road movie. Then Thomas Milan's Chaco shows up, and the whole thing turns meaner than a landlord 2 weeks after rent's due. Chaco, he ain't just a villain. He's the sort of man who'd steal your horse, burn your house, and then ask for a drink of water. He whips, he tortures, and assaults the group just to see them break. Fulci doesn't spare you the details. He lingers on each cruelty like he's daring you to look away. Later, when food runs low, we get a little flash of some cannibalism, just enough to make you push your dinner plate a tad farther away. What makes it hit harder is how Fulci sprinkles in these odd, quiet moments of beauty, like the desert trying to remind you it's still out there. But every time you relax, he just yanks on the reins and throws you right back into the dirt. It's not just brutal, it's like getting sucker punched halfway through your birthday cake. Calling El Topo a Western, it's like calling moonshine just a drink. Sure, it's got your guns, it's got your horses, and your dusty trails. But Alejandro Jodorowsky, he turns the whole thing into a desert vision quest where every bullet feels like it's aimed straight at your brain. He plays the title role himself, a black-clad gunfighter wandering the desert on a quest that's part showdown, part spiritual test, and part, what in the hell did I just watch? The violence here is both poetic and ugly. I mean, we're talking massacres in dark caves, mass graves in the sand, and some self-mutilation served up alongside religious imagery. Sometimes, you're not even sure if you're looking at a shootout or a sermon, but either way, somebody's bleeding by the end of it. What makes El Topo so unsettling that it's never just about the blood. It's about what's crawling around in your head afterwards. One second, you're staring at gorgeous desert sunrises. The next, you're watching a scene so twisted you couldn't explain it to your best friend without sounding touched in the head. It's a little like riding bareback on a bronco that's been stung by a bee. You're not sure where you're headed, but you know it's gonna hurt when you get there.
Señor, su carro tiene muchas moscas. Muchas moscas.
Flies.
This one, it's not a cowboy yarn with horses and tumbleweeds. No, it's a neo-western, set in modern-day Mexico, but built from the same bones as the Old West. You got the bounty hunt, the doomed anti-hero, and a world where money and blood are the only currencies to spend. Peckinpah takes from frontier archetypes, loner gunmen, treacherous outlaws, and a land that eats the weak, and drags them into the 1970s. He's swapping dust trails for desert highways and saloons for tequila-soaked bars. Warren Oates, he plays Benny. He's a washed-up piano player offered 10 grand to bring back Alfredo Garcia's head.
Bring that with you.
Well, don't worry, if he's alive, I'll find him.
Well, alive isn't our problem.
Trouble is, Garcia's already in the ground, so Benny, he has to go dig him up, hack off his head, and then start trucking it across Mexico in a burlap sack. From there, it's just one ambush and double cross after another. The shootouts, they feel clumsy and desperate, like two drunk cousins swinging at each other at a family reunion. The violence, it's not stylized. It's sweaty, sloppy, and personal. What makes this movie brutal, it's watching Benny slowly unravel.
Sorry, Al. Sorry.
Talking to the head like it's his drinking buddy. as he slips further and further into madness. It's the Old West myth remade for the modern age. Only here, the frontier's gone, but the ugliness, it never left.
I think I'll just borrow yours. Ay, 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 ay.
It's all right, Benny.
And when I kill you one day, you gringo son of a bitch.
No, you won't, Benny. I've been here before. You don't know the way.
Now you look at me, Sergeant Brown. Yeah, one of us murdered your woman. Now we're gonna see that you get fixed up good. You can be sure of that, Brown. Because a man like you deserves a sentence too.
Some westerns flirt with being horror movies. Cutthroat's 9, well, it skips the sweet talk and moves in like a jealous lover with a butcher knife and no sense of boundaries. The setup's simple. You got yourself a chain gang of convicts who are being marched through the mountains, and by the way, their chains, they're actually gold.
Gold. It's gold! Let me see that.
And once that word gets out, trust dies faster than a horse with a busted leg, and the trip turns into a rolling bloodbath. This is a winter western, which means every death pops against the snow. Faces smashed with axes, skin burned away with, and shootouts that leave red streaks just trailing across the white like a bad holiday decoration. There's no high style here. The violence is raw and unpleasant, the kind of stuff that leaves you shifting in your seat. The grindhouse roughness is part of its charm, though. You can almost feel the actors' teeth chattering in the cold, and you can see their breath clouding in front of their mouths. There's just this constant sense of desperation. Every man eyeing the gold, the guards, and each other, waiting for that moment to pounce. So if Hallmark ever made a Christmas Western, this would be its long-lost, murderous cousin. Ugly, cold, and just waiting for an excuse to spill something onto the snow. Some westerns try to polish up the history between the U.S. cavalry and the native tribes, but Ulzana's raid, it takes that shine off with a wire brush. Robert Aldrich tells the story of an Apache leader named Ulzana and his raiding party, and with a cavalry patrol sent to track him. The result? It isn't a noble adventure at all. It's a running catalog of how ugly frontier warfare could get. Settlers are found shot, burned, or mutilated. There's ambushes that spring out of nowhere, and just nobody dies clean. The Apaches kill to make a point, and the soldiers kill because they can. And by the halfway mark, you've gone figured out that there ain't really any good guys here. Just folks trying to survive, and sometimes by outdoing each other in cruelty. What makes this film hit harder, it's how matter-of-fact it is. The violence, it's not dressed up with slow motion or dramatic music. It's just there, as much as a part of the landscape as the dust in the scrub. And it's not all action. Aldrich digs into the strategy and the psychology of both sides, making the brutality feel earned, if not justified. It's about as comforting as leaning onto a rusty barbed wire fence, but that's the point. The frontier, it was no place for comfort. And Ulzana's raid, it doesn't let you pretend otherwise.
Half of what they say is lies, the other half ain't true. Tell them they speak like true Apaches.
Are you here to bury the dead, huh? Then you're in business, and here's your first customers.
If you know one thing about Django, it's probably that image. Franco Nero trudging into town, dragging a coffin behind him. Inside, it ain't a body, it's a machine gun. And when he finally opens it up, the street turns into a meat grinder in seconds. The director didn't just push the boundaries of Western violence, he just shot them full of holes. The plot's a revenge stew. The Django's caught between a gang of ex-Confederates and a band of Mexican revolutionaries, both happy to stack bodies like cordwood. Between muddy street brawls, public executions, and just one infamous scene where a man's ear gets cut off and shoved into his mouth. Which you may have seen Tarantino use. I mean, it's no wonder the film was banned in the UK for decades. Everything about Django feels filthy. Well, in the best way, of course. The mud looks knee-deep, the gun sounds like cannons, and you can practically smell the powder smoke and unwashed bodies. It's not the careful stage kind of violence. It's quick, mean, and often over before you even realize what just happened. By the time the coffin's secret is revealed, it's like watching someone kick open the gates of hell just to see who runs out. And for this list, that earns it a seat right near the top.
Well, now you won't have to pay for protection anymore, Nathaniel.
You killed them all, didn't you?
No, not quite. The Mexicans will still be around.
I'll say it again. I don't feel like dividing. I've come too far, done too much to let anyone else get their hands on this gold. I've had to put up with the stink of your skins. I don't divide my gold with no motherless Mexicans.
If Django was rough, well, Django Kill, it's downright deranged. This one barely hangs on to a plot, but that just leaves more room for the kind of imagery that makes you wonder what they were spiking the coffee with on that set. Our anti-hero crawls out of a shallow grave after being double-crossed, and from there, it's a steady slide into the nastiest corners of spaghetti western universe. We're talking gold bullets dug out of fresh corpses, a lynching that turns into a full-on dismemberment, and a scalping that feels like something out of our Grindhouse horror reel. And just in case that's not enough, there's torture by vampire bats, because why the hell not? What makes it hit harder is the director's just dreamlike, disorienting style. Scenes swing from blinding desert daylight to shadowy interiors where the violence seems to seep out of the walls. It's not here to thrill you. It's here to dare you to keep watching. Some of the cruelty is so sudden, you can barely process it before the film just moseys on, leaving you blinking like you just got slapped. This isn't just a brutal Western. It's a dare wrapped in dust and blood, and it doesn't care if you walk away a little bit broken.
It's a beautiful grave. Ain't seen one bigger. You're gonna be real comfortable. Ain't that right, boss?
We work for you, and now you are going to kill us without giving us one drop of tequila.
Say, boy, you're trying to force me to draw, ain't you? I know your system. But I'm not losing my temper of that, I'm sure. If anybody draws first, it's gotta be you.
Most Westerns, they at least pretend the good guy has a shot. The Great Silence, it doesn't bother lying to you. Sergio Corbucci, he swaps sun-baked deserts for snowbound wilderness and hands the reins to his silence, a mute gunslinger who speaks with his pistols. His targets? Well, they're a pack of bounty hunters led by Klaus Kinski.
And now, boy, I've been waiting a long time for an amusing day like this.
Who's a calm, polite, and about as trustworthy as a loan shark with a Bible in his hands.
Are you hurt? I'm sorry.
The violence, it's quick and sharp and pretty much merciless. Ambushes happen without warning. Bullets tear through the white drifts.
Now say goodbye to your husband. Always respect the dead.
And bodies are just left to freeze where they fall. There's just no romance in the shootouts, just cold efficiency. And then comes the ending. Man, Silence finally faces down the bounty hunters, and he loses. Badly. The people he swore to protect, they're gunned down too. The villains, they just ride off smiling, and the snow just quietly covers the whole mess. Roll the credits. It's a gut punch that rattled 1968 audiences, so much so that the director, he had to reshoot a happy ending for some markets. But the real cut sticks with you like a splinter under the skin. This isn't just the most brutal grindhouse western. It's one of the boldest and meanest statements the genre's ever made. 'Cause sometimes, evil wins, and all you get is the silence afterwards.
No, don't pity us!
Alright folks, that's the end of the Grindhouse Frontier. If you made it through all that without blinking, either you got a cast iron stomach, or you just not right in the head. And I thank you for that. We've got some links here for part 1 and part 3, which dives into the modern bloodbaths and horror hybrids that keeps this genre alive. And that's all 36 films in the series. Now go hit that subscribe button, why don't you? And give this video a like, by the way. That way YouTube doesn't bury it like a bad poker debt. And I want to hear from you all. Drop a comment telling me what you want to see more of in the Brutal series. Or if there's another set of films or series you think deserves the same treatment, let me know. Who knows? Could be the next list I drag out of the vault. So lock and load, partners, and keep the reels a-rolling.